Renowned host Xiana, the first celebrity in China to amass over 100 million followers on the social media platform Weibo, recently shared a concerning update. She revealed in a post that her three daughters, whom she shares with famous singer Jason Zhang, were all hospitalized and receiving IV treatments. At one point, all three children required infusions simultaneously for 3 consecutive days. Sienna posted a heartfelt photo of herself tightly holding one of her children's hands, which was wrapped in bandages and tape for the IV. The image deeply concerned fans, many expressing alarm at the situation. Although she did not disclose the exact cause of her children's high fevers, social media discussions reveal that children's hospitals across mainland China are overwhelmed, with a significant rise in severe cases. Many online users have described the current wave of illnesses as particularly alarming, noting that a troubling number of cases involve children and young people falling gravely ill or even losing their lives. Despite growing concerns, Chinese authorities have not released official data on severe cases or deaths. In the absence of transparency, pediatricians, family members of patients, and others have taken to social media to exchange information, offer warnings, and share reports of severe illnesses and fatalities. A Beijing resident issued a stark warning online, highlighting the severity of the influenza outbreak in the city and urging others to avoid traveling to Beijing. Another shared that this wave of the virus had left them without effective treatments. Fevers shoot up to 39.6 Celsius, and hospital tests show it's not any known virus. Even doctors are unsure what it is or how to treat it. Reports from across mainland China echo similar concerns. Many residents say they, along with their families and colleagues, are battling fevers and persistent severe coughs lasting over a month. While some suspect the lingering impact of COVID-19, others have shared accounts of sudden deaths among young people and students, prompting parents to stay vigilant. On a popular Chinese social media platform, Xiaohongshu, a grieving mother from Henan shared her devastating loss. She revealed that her two daughters had died from acute necrotizing encephalopathy caused by influenza A during the recent flu surge. A heartbreaking video on Chinese TikTok, Douyin, detailed the story of a 7-year-old girl who succumbed to the same condition. In December 2024, in just 4 days, the child went from being diagnosed to losing her life. In another Douyin video, an emergency physician from Miyuan Hospital of Beijing University First Hospital discussed recent cases he treated. He warned that if children experience calf pain after recovering from a fever caused by influenza A, parents should take immediate action and bring them back to the hospital for further evaluation. The doctor explained that he only recently noticed this pattern. Many children seem to recover after their fever subsided, only to develop leg pain later. This symptom could indicate severe complications such as viral myocarditis, a dangerous condition that requires urgent medical attention. The video sparked widespread concern, with many viewers sharing similar tragic stories. One Zhejiang resident recounted that 2 children from her son's school had passed away because their parents initially mistook the symptoms for a common cold and relied on over-the-counter medication. Tragically, the delay in seeking proper medical care led to severe complications and ultimately the children's deaths. A user from Hubei shared a tragic incident involving their colleague's 13-year-old son, who mistook his symptoms for a simple cold and didn't take it seriously. However, he collapsed in class, and despite being rushed to the hospital, he never regained consciousness. A grieving parent in Fujian shared that their daughter succumbed to acute myocarditis. It happened so quickly that there was no time to transfer her to a higher-level hospital. These incidents are not isolated, as an increasing number of young people have also been reported dead in the latest wave of illnesses across China. A user from Guangdong recounted the sudden loss of a loved one, expressing uncertainty about whether myocarditis was the cause of his death. A few days before he passed, he had a mild fever and body aches. Another user from Jiangsu shared that a neighbor's 18-year-old son died from myocarditis. A person from Shandong shared that his girlfriend had a fever a few days ago. She went to the hospital the next day, was diagnosed with myocarditis, and passed away the same day. She was born in the 1990s and left behind such a young child. On January 12th, a friend of a fitness influencer on Xiaohongshu shared that the account holder was hospitalized after falling unconscious from a high fever the night before. Tragically, the influencer passed away in the morning due to myocarditis triggered by the flu. The rapid spread of multiple viruses in mainland China has overwhelmed hospitals, with long queues forming, while funeral homes reportedly operate around the clock. Despite the escalating crisis, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, continues to suppress the full extent of the situation. Since the end of 2019, the population decline in mainland China due to the pandemic have remained state secrets. Official population figures released by the CCP are widely viewed by the public as unreliable. Recently, internet users noticed that over a month before the Chinese authorities released their official data, the United Nations World Population Prospects 2024 report had already predicted that China's newborn population for 2024 would be approximately 8.8 million. Some users reacted by saying that Chinese families tend to have more babies during dragon years because of the zodiac's significance. This figure reflects a rebound compared to the steadily declining birth rates in recent years, but is still 200,000 fewer than last year's 9 million births. Others expressed their concerns with humor and sarcasm, asking if dragon year babies are now just a caged generation. Perhaps they're destined to become dragon laborers. Without the boost from the dragon year, the number might not have even reached 8.8 million. Another commented that the data is shocking. The UN published it first, so how will the CCP manipulate its own figures? If it's too far-fetched, it won't hold up. On January 17th, China's National Bureau of Statistics revealed that the country's total population for 2024 was approximately 1.408 billion. A decrease of 1.4 million compared to 2023's figure of 1.409 billion. This marks the third consecutive year of population decline. Official Chinese data indicates a slight increase in the country's birth population, rising from 9.02 million in 2023 to 9.54 million in 2024. This figure surpasses the United Nations' earlier projection of 8.82 million. However, according to a report by China Business Journal, China's birth population has been on a consistent downward trend, dripping below 10 million for the first time in 2022. Data shows that from 2016 to 2023, China's annual birth population steadily declined, with figures recorded at 18.83 million, 17.65 million, 15.23 million, 14.65 million, 12 million, 10.62 million, 9.56 million, and 9.02 million. The release of the latest population data by China's National Bureau of Statistics has ignited heated debate among social media users, with many questioning its credibility. A Jiangxi resident expressed skepticism, stating that the county had a total population of 460,000 in 2024, but fewer than 2,000 newborns. At this rate, within 5 years, all rural elementary schools will have to be merged into one in the county. And this is in the south, where birth rates are traditionally higher than in the north. How are the statistics calculated? Similar concerns were echoed nationwide, with those from Shandong, Hebei, Henan, Zhejiang, and Guangdong highlighting alarming disparities between births and deaths in their local communities. One commented, "Our village had 14 deaths this year but only 2 births." Another said, "We lost 18 people and had just 3 newborns." Someone else stated, "In our hamlet there was only 1 birth this year, fewer than the number of funeral processions." Yet another said, "In the past 2 years, over a dozen elderly people in our village have passed away, while only a handful of children were born." And another said, "Our community reached 0 births this year." Many users on X outright dismissed the accuracy of the government's numbers. Someone commented that the real birth rate has been negative for years, probably below -1.5%. Someone else said they wouldn't even trust the punctuation in CCP's data. Another user said it's impossible to believe there were 9.54 million births. These numbers are clearly fake. While someone questioned, does the National Bureau of Statistics ever release truthful data? An insider alleged that the CCP never discloses the truth. China's actual population is likely under 1 billion. This figure reportedly came to light after international hackers breached the Ministry of Public Security's database. The CCP's abrupt reversal of its family planning policies further supports this claim. China's declining birth rate has been a decades-long trend, largely driven by the CCP's strict enforcement of the one-child policy implemented in the 1980s. This policy not only reduced the population but also caused a significant gender imbalance. In recent years, the nation's economic struggles have further discouraged young people from starting families. Many have abandoned dreams of a stable future and face challenges finding jobs, giving rise to the so-called 4-no youth, those who choose not to date, marry, buy homes, or have children. Official data shows that in the first 3 quarters of 2024, only 4.75 million couples registered for marriage, compared to 5.69 million during the same period in 2023. This marks a year-on-year decrease of 25%. While the CCP claims China's population still stands at 1.4 billion, the reality of significant population decline has forced a major policy shift. Starting in 2024, the government pivoted from its long-standing one-child policy to actively encouraging childbirth, reflecting a sharp reversal in its approach. In November 2024, the Wenzhou District Health Commission in Chongqing sent text messages to local residents urging them to have more children. The message stated that the government encourages appropriate age marriage, childbirth, and high-quality parenting. Each couple is allowed to have 3 children. For remarried couples, 3 children are permitted and children from previous marriages are not included in the total. The policy sparked online discussions. A Guangdong resident questioned, "Chongqing is saying remarried couples can have 3 children. Does that mean you can have 3 in your first marriage, another 3 in your second, and 3 more in your third? 9 children in total?" One woman shared a personal experience. She said yesterday while cooking she got a call from the community office. The caller asked when she last had her period. The woman said she couldn't remember and the caller replied, "I'll just fill in something here." Then asked if she planned to have children and when she intended to do so. The caller even said she would call her every 2 weeks for the next 3 months. The woman asked if they were pushing people to have children now. The caller denied it, saying they were just checking in, and then said, "You don't have pets at home, right?" When the woman replied she had a dog, the caller warned her about how bad dogs are for children. Similar calls have been made to unmarried women, allegedly as part of an initiative by the Pro-Birth Office, a department established by the CCP in 2023 to address the nation's declining birth rate. One user shared on X that their sister, born in 1977, got a call from the village asking her to have 3 children. Another user revealed that women who haven't gone through menopause are being told to have more children, while those who are postmenopausal must obtain a medical certificate to prove it. A blind human rights activist now based in the US, Chen Guangcheng, shared insights into the Pro-Birth Office. He said, from what he's gathered, this new office is essentially a rebranded version of the old family planning office, staffed by the same people using the same methods. Right now, they're relying on subtle coercion, incentives, and small cash payments to encourage childbirth. However, Chen warned that the situation could escalate. While it hasn't reached the brutal extremes of the past, like breaking into homes at night and dragging women off for forced abortions, it's possible the CCP could resort to such measures again. Chen pointed out that some policies have already been implemented in hospitals and clinics. In the past, the CCP directed that pregnant women without approval from the Family Planning Office couldn't receive medical assistance for childbirth. Hospitals that violated this rule were punished. I saw it happen myself. Now the reverse is happening. Hospitals cannot perform abortions without permission from the Pro-Birth Office. If they do, they face immediate disciplinary action. These policies are already being rolled out. While there aren't yet concrete measures to force people to have children, Chen feels that the CCP is laying the groundwork for stricter enforcement. Chen also reflected on the devastating legacy of the Family Planning Office. During the one-child policy era, the CCP created countless tragedies. Officials eager to appease the regime and secure their positions carried out atrocious acts. In the 1980s, the CCP enforced its family planning policies with brutal measures, often operating without any legal framework. Pregnant women were frequently detained. Officials would scale walls at night, drag women out of their homes without allowing them to dress, and force them into vehicles for abortions or sterilizations. Beatings and other abuses were common. These atrocities happened daily in rural areas and across the country. The once brutal Family Planning Office has now been rebranded as the Pro-Birth Office, prompting survivors of China's notorious one-child policy to share their harrowing stories online. A social media user from Shandong posted an overbirth fine notice issued in 1990. The document read, "To so-and-so of so-and-so village, it has been confirmed that you gave birth to a second child in May 1984. As per regulations, you are fined 1,500 yuan. You must pay this amount to the village office by 5 p.m. on May 23rd. Failure to comply will result in the following actions. Your parents, siblings, and in-laws will also be subjected to a joint household penalty policy and fined individually. If the fines remain unpaid, property will be confiscated as collateral. 2. If these measures fail, all family assets will be confiscated, land leases revoked, and your house may be forcibly demolished." The severity of the notice sparked memories among users. Someone commented that they were born in 2007 and their father had to pay 40,000 yuan for them. Another person said that when their mom was pregnant with them, she hid in the mountains alone, with no light and swarms of mosquitoes. Someone else revealed that they cost 20,000 yuan to be born. Independent filmmaker Li Juan reflected on this dark history. He said that when he was a journalist, he visited rural households during Chinese New Year. One family was so poor they didn't even have doors or windows. They were surrounded by walls. When he asked why, the residents said the overbirth fines had bankrupted them. This was in Jiangsu, one of China's wealthier provinces. From 1980 to today, it's estimated that over 150 to 200 million children were born in violation of the one-child policy. Assuming an average fine of 10,000 yuan per child, the total fines collected would range from 1.5 to 2 trillion yuan. This staggering financial incentive drove countless tragedies. However, Li noted, even 10,000 yuan per person is a conservative estimate, as enforcement was often far more ruthless. Li also pointed out that in the past decade, China's marriage and birth rates have steadily declined, reaching a tipping point in 2021. That year, for the first time, the birth rate fell below the death rate, with annual deaths averaging around 12 million. Since 2021, the decline has accelerated due to two key factors. The first factor is the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused a significant death toll, including many of childbearing age. The second factor is the economic collapse from the zero-COVID policy. Massive unemployment, with experts estimating youth joblessness exceeding 50%, has led to marriage rates dropping by 30 to 40% annually in the last 2 years. Financial pressures are so overwhelming that even married couples often choose not to have children. The CCP is now in a state of panic as the country faces rapid aging, a development with potentially catastrophic consequences. Human rights activist Chen Guangcheng warned that the CCP might resort to extreme measures to boost births. It's hard to imagine what sinister methods they might employ, but one thing is certain. The CCP won't achieve its goals through coercion as they did during the one-child policy era. Forcing a woman to carry a pregnancy to term is far more challenging than enforcing a policy to prevent births. Even if the CCP mobilized all of its resources, it wouldn't succeed. Editor-in-chief of the Epoch Times, Guo Jun, highlighted that there are 40 million more men than women of reproductive age in China. The bottleneck for population recovery isn't men, it's women of childbearing age. The population decline will have a profound economic impact. Labor shortages, reduced investment, weaker consumer demand, and the shrinking tax base will all push the economy further downward. She said that globally, countries solve population declines through immigration. However, China is not an immigration-friendly country, nor does it have a societal foundation for racial or cultural integration. Guo thinks it is unlikely that the CCP can resolve this crisis through measures that force people to have children. Countries like Romania tried similar measures, even employing menstrual police to monitor women of childbearing age. Unsurprisingly, it didn't work. While the CCP's pro-birth policies have yet to succeed, a troubling number of young people and children have recently passed away in China. This may indicate that a regime resorting to extreme measures, such as enforcing policies like having menstrual police, is approaching its breaking point.